Found out my 35M girlfriend, 32F, has been lying to me about her finances. I, 35M, recently discovered my girlfriend, 32F, of 3 years has been lying to me about her finances and that she makes about 8K a month after taxes while I make about 7K a month. She also got a promotion at her work a few months ago that she has not mentioned to me yet. To put this into context, we live in a very expensive city because of our jobs and she refused to pay a significant portion of the rent since we moved in together. She only agreed to spend $500 of her own money on rent. That left me to foot the remaining $2,100. Before she moved in, I shared the apartment with a friend and we both paid $1,300 each. The owner has raised the rent steadily over the last 2 years and now we are supposed to pay $3,000. That means I'll be paying $2,500 a month or $30,000 a year. We could move to a cheaper place, but that could mean a 3-hour commute, which is not ideal. My girlfriend continues to refuse to pay more in rent despite her making more, and the financial strain is getting to me. I barely have any savings. I pay for almost everything and she spends most of her money on her makeup and designer clothes and fancy dinners with her friends. When I confronted her about her lying to me about her finances, she told me she makes $60K a year before we moved in. She said it's my responsibility as a man to pay the rent and she can't afford to pay half the rent and also live the lifestyle she wants to live. She also has no financial discipline or any idea where all that money disappears to. I'm sorry I'm ranting, but I just feel frustrated and don't have anyone to talk to about all this. I feel so frustrated and drained. I am angry and I feel I have been deceived by someone I thought I could share my life with. I feel totally lost, like I have been a fool the past 3 years and I've wasted my time dating her when she clearly can't be honest with me. I have tried many times to be reasonable and understanding. It just doesn't work. She is just a leech trying to drain every single penny out of me. I'm starting to have second thoughts on our life together. Maybe we shouldn't be getting married after all. So what do you guys think I should do? Good God, man. Give the landlord notice, move to a low-cost 1BR place and build your finances back up. Lose the parasite. Someone who is an appropriate life partner would not act this way. Even if she's from some hardcore traditional, gendered culture where the man pays, both honesty and prioritizing the financial health of your partnership have to be core values for a life partner. I know Reddit has a bad representative for telling people to break up, but dude, break up. What she's doing is financially abusive and it's truly fucked up on multiple levels. Yeah, don't marry her. She's using you to subsidize her lifestyle. Out the door she goes. Get a new roommate who actually pays their half and let your own finances recover. If you want to mess with her a little first, tell her you've lost your job and you'll both have to move. She'll do the breaking up for you. She's using you. Kick her out and get a roommate. What other option is there? She's horrible. Some would call what she is doing to you financial abuse. Be careful and save yourself from this mess as soon as possible. The longer you stay, the harder it will become for you to leave safely. By safely, I mean with any money to rent elsewhere and emotionally sound. I, 20 male, feel like my girlfriend, 22 female, isn't real. What is that? So basically my relationship is great. We have been together over a year now and we're best friends for ages before. We are great together. She's understanding and caring and we rarely bicker, and when we do we are both very good at apologizing and holding accountability, etc., etc. She's literally the most gorgeous girl as well. This is important, like, insanely pretty, but I have had this one problem the entire time. When I look at her I feel like she isn't real. Not in an emotional way but in like the simulation way. It sounds crazy, but I can't shake this feeling she isn't a real person. Like when I look at her body I feel like I'm sitting with a real person, but sometimes when I'm looking at her face it's almost like I feel she can take off her face like a mask. It doesn't really affect anything but it's so weird. It kinda feels like Uncanny Valley, but not in the way that I'm creeped out. It's just like this person isn't real and I feel like she's gonna unveil her realness. It's like I can't reach out and touch her. I do and can physically, because she's not real. What the fuck is this? It's like there's a gap between us but not an emotional one. I can come to her with anything without fear and I'll be met with understanding. I feel close to her emotionally and physically, like IDK. Is it possible for someone to be so pretty that my brain literally can't understand it? I feel like I am going crazy. I've talked to her about this and she was like, what the fuck lol, like neither of us can figure out what this is. Any advice? Edit. Guys, I am not on drugs and it doesn't cause me distress. It's just weird. I'm going to talk to a therapist, haha, but it's chill. Thought this would be a silly thing a lot of people experience. Edit. I understand people's concerns but I have little to no family history of psychosis, schizophrenia, paranoia, etc., etc. I have grown up around abusive relationships. However, I must reiterate I am not on drugs. I don't indulge, and I don't experience this outside of this exact scenario. I am autistic, but I thought it was irrelevant to add. I truly did think this was a common experience for people. I think it sounds worse than it is because I don't have the language to explain this better. I am not scared or distressed by a mask, it's more a feeling that I literally think there's a mask. You have a mental health issue that needs urgent care, op. This is a mental health concern, and oftentimes less scary when you understand it. It could be a symptom of depression, low self-esteem, or potentially something more serious like psychosis. Go talk to a mental health professional for help. I think you need professional mental help. Seems like some sort of dissociation or paranoia which definitely needs to be looked into while you're in a relatively stable state. Otherwise it may hit you 3 times as hard at some point, alter your behavior and leave you in a state where you're no longer capable of asking for help. Edit. Your edit is making me nervous. You don't seem to understand the concern people have. Yes, it's minor now, but it certainly isn't normal, and if you don't investigate while it's still minor it has the potential to spiral into something scary. I'm ODHD and BPD who has experienced plenty of dissociation. You're being very nonchalant about something serious. Talk to a therapist instead of taking advice from a Redditor telling you that you're fine. No offense, but we can't just be telling random people experiencing something potentially concerning that they're fine. You very well might be fine and just watching too much sci-fi while being in disbelief that you have girl that beautiful, but at 20 years old, this is the time certain mental health conditions start to creep in. Again, might be nothing or anything serious. Don't freak out and go down an internet rabbit hole. Talk to a therapist and explore this further. It's derealization, depersonalization. It can be a symptom of underlying anxiety or depression, or can be a disorder by itself. I went through many bouts of this in my teens and mid-20s. What worked for me was SSRI meds. But first seek therapy and get professional advice. If this is real, see a doctor. How'd I, 30F, ask my wife, 28F, to stop singing in the car? My 30F wife, 28F, and I have been together for 4 years, married for 1. For some background on our relationship, it's a little bit of an opposites attract dynamic. My wife is a big ball of sunshine. She is an extrovert from a big, loud Italian family, and I am definitely more of an introvert from a tiny, reserved, Irish family. Normally, this dynamic works great. She always makes me laugh and really brings me out of my shell, and, according to her at least, I help her stay present and truly enjoy the moment instead of having to be constantly on the go. That all being said, one of the times this dynamic is less ideal is when we are driving. My wife absolutely loves to sing in the car, and will often curate playlists so that she can belt all the words to every song. She gets super into it, and it clearly brings her joy to do so. But she just really cannot sing. Now, she is often the first to admit this herself. She knows she's not destined for Broadway, and she totally owns this fact. And it's not like I don't enjoy singing along with her a lot of the time. The problem is that her voice carries like no one I've ever met. I've even joked with her that she has super-powered vocal cords. They overpower any song we are listening to by a mile. Plus, if she doesn't know all the words, she'll start making them up. So, whenever we are in the car, all I will hear is her loudly singing along off-key to every song, and sometimes hearing a bunch of made-up words on top of that. I try to ignore it as best as I can, but I get especially irritated if I like the song and want to actually hear the artist singing it. It's gotten to the point where I will purposefully request songs she doesn't know, so that I can actually enjoy it. I know the solution is most likely to just talk with her about it, but for some reason I am worried that I'll sound like an asshole or hurt her feelings if I tell her not to sing along, or even to lower her voice. The best I've been able to do is joke about it while we were driving once, but naturally she took it as that, just a joke, which is fair. It clearly makes her so happy to jam in the car, and she has been a bit sensitive in the past to me asking her to lower her voice. She was talking on the phone while I was in a meeting, and it was coming through my headphones lol, but I think she just doesn't register how much her voice actually can carry. I think I'm mostly looking for advice on how to potentially phrase it, or if it's even worth bringing up at all. Thanks so much. Just know, if you say something, you can't unsay it. Imagine future card trips where a song comes on you know she loves and she just sits there in silence cause you told her you don't like hearing her sing. I guarantee you that silence will be 10 times more unbearable for you than her singing. Sometimes we should just put up with annoying things because it brings genuine joy to the people we love most. I think it's fair to ask for a compromise. You can reiterate that your times singing together in the car are something you love and never want to stop, but that it would also be nice sometimes to just experience and enjoy the music. I love to belt it out in the car too, but when songs I absolutely love come on, I really just want to crank it up and let it wash over me, you know? I don't think this is an either-or situation, and I think your best chance for a successful conversation is to frame it that way. ETA. No matter what you do, please do not involve the quality of her singing. That's the one surefire way to cause a hurt you can't fix. She'll never be truly comfortable singing around you again. Alternate who picks songs, or make 2 playlists for the drives. Playlist 1 is her sing-along songs, playlist 2 is your, I want to hear the music, songs. I would say, I love seeing you so happy singing in the car, but sometimes I need a little quiet time to just listen to the original songs and focus on the road. Can we alternate playlists? One that is fun to sing with, and one to just listen to? That's horrible. Loudly crying. I am a terrible singer, but singing my heart out in the car brings me so much joy, especially when it feels like the rest of the world is falling apart. Hey, I'm sorry you're getting shit on. I have sound sensitivity and also don't like singing with my husband all the time. The trick is to take turns. Most of the time, let her sing, but if you're in a bad mood or just want some quiet time, it's okay to request that. Phrase it like you're just discovering something about yourself. I'm just realizing that sometimes I get anxious, stressed when there's too much noise. When I'm having a bad day, it would be really supportive if we could have a chill, quiet drive. I fell in love with you for your enthusiasm, and I don't want your singing to stop. I just need calm today. Just ask for quiet listening time sometimes and let her go hard the other times. Edit. Hey, insert term of endearment here. Can I have some quiet listening time to enjoy the original song? We can take turns. I love it when you sing too. My boyfriend, M24 feet, says that I, F22 feet, don't give him enough head. So me and my boyfriend have been living together for just about 5 months. We have been dating for 9 months. He recently made a comment about how he never gets head. Which I have given him head multiple times and I don't mind giving it to him, but I'm not one to do it every day. He says for the amount that he FCKS me, he should be getting the same amount of head. I just want to put it out there that during our time together I have only received head 1 time, and I brought that up to him, but he said that he always FCKS me, so is that not good enough? I just don't understand. I tried asking how much head he would want and he said from now on we will only have sex the same amount as I give him head. Anybody relate to this? He sounds like a selfish lover, and not a very skilled one. He's not owed your body in any capacity. That is the worst take I've ever heard. Dump his ass for real. I'm sorry, but that is ridiculous. I would never give him head again. I don't understand, is the fucking not mutual? I mean, if he fucks you, is he not likewise getting fucked? So then by his logic, you're fucking him so you don't need to give him head? Just pointing out the double standard here. Beyond that, he sounds incredibly selfish. I want more for me. For every time I do for both of us, you should do for me. No, I shouldn't do for you. That's your BF. I'm not saying everything needs to be in perfect one-to-one balance, but when the comfortable balance is lopsided, the person it favors doesn't get to demand more. Your boyfriend is a selfish lover. Set him straight on that or kick him out. You're young, and so is the relationship, so get clear before sunk cost pulls you into marriage. Emo. He's gross. Friend, you've moved too fast here. Since most women don't have an orgasm from PIV sex, he isn't doing you any favors. This is a silly argument. Obviously he knows that sex isn't an equivalent to head. You could very well say you allow him to have sex with you instead of head. I wouldn't though. This shows a huge amount of red flags in the way he asks for what he wants. He is demanding, not asking nicely. He is using sexual blackmail. He is going against his own interests by doing this. It's coercive sex which, were you to agree when you didn't want to, could be considered rape.